G'day, I'm Scott from Real Property Advice, and today I'm on the site of a brand new constructed house and we're here to perform a pre-handover inspection. These inspections are the last inspection done before you pay your final building payment to your builder. You can do them by yourself or you can engage a professional to do them on your behalf, and today that's what we've done. We're here with Ross from Ensuite Building Inspections and he's going to help us with our inspection. How you going, Ross?
I'm very well, Scott. Yourself?
Yeah, good, thanks.
That's the way.
Ross has already had a quick look through this property and he's going to take us through right now and show us what he's found. So Ross, lead the way and we'll follow you around.
All right, let's take a look. All right, so here today we're carrying out a handover inspection, and what we generally like to look at when we're doing a handover inspection is everything that the builder should have finished properly before he hands the property over to the owner. So today I've been around the outside, the inside, over the roof, through the roof, and we've come up with a couple of items. I won't show all of them to you today, but I will show you a couple of the key ones that have popped up. So first of all, over here, we're looking at a steel stirrup which supports the timber post. And what we can see is they've actually installed it on an angle, so it's actually not supporting properly. And you can see that it's twisted in here. The load has gone to the outer edge of the timber post and has broken the post. So that's something the builder's going to need to address before he actually hands it over to the owner. Now we'll pop inside and I'll show you a couple of other things. Okay, so now we've popped into the garage, and generally when you have a plain concrete floor on the garage, the finish is generally high quality with a nice steel trowel finish. But on this one, I don't know exactly what's happened, whether that was poor weather on the day that they poured it, but it's ended up with lots of holes, lots of scratched sections of concrete, and the overall finish of the concrete is quite poor. And I'll be suggesting to the buyer or the purchaser that they actually go back to the builder and see if he can come up with another idea, maybe an acrylic finish over the top to actually really give her the finish that she should have had in the first place. So now we're on the inside, and one of the things we do while we're walking around is we look for defects in the paintwork or in the gyprock below the paintwork. And in order for it to be a defect, it's actually got to be visible from 2 meters in natural light. So when we stand back and we have a look over here, you can actually see a scratch that sits directly beneath the painted finish. So that's something that the builder will need to come back with his painter and fill that scratch and repaint the wall. We've done that in various places around the house, in areas where in natural light, at different times of the day, you can see light coming in from windows and they can really show up a defect, and they shouldn't be there if you can see them from 2 meters away. So now we're in the kitchen, and some of the main things we look for when we're in the kitchen are obviously things that stand out. So if someone's built something and scratched something, that's definitely something we're going to be looking for. But we always like to run the taps as well. Open the cupboards, pull out our torch, have a bit of a look around, make sure there's no leaks, make sure all the plumbing's connected. We operate all the drawers, operate all the doors, make sure they're all functioning. We even look around over here, we can see the range hood. We can see, you probably can't see it from there, but there's actually a dent in the front of the stainless steel. So that's something that shouldn't be there. That's something that the builder would need to replace. We also look out for around the cooktops and make sure they cut the stone the right size hole so that when the cooktop drops in, there's no gaps. We always open the oven up, make sure they're screwed into the side so they're actually secured to the carcass, so that when you're pulling out your cooked lamb roast or something, the oven's not going to come out straight behind you. So that's one of the safety things we always look for. And overall finish, tiles, sealants around tiles, bench tops. This kitchen's actually in pretty good condition and they've done a pretty good job. Now we'll take a look at the bathroom. So now we're in the ensuite. So when we're in wet areas, we like to check all of the functioning things. So we flush the toilets, make sure that it's dry, not leaking any water onto the floor, make sure the pan's stable, that they've correctly fixed it to the floor. We do the same thing with the vanities. We run all the taps, check the sealants, check the doors, make sure it's sealed, make sure the power points aren't too close to the basins. And then we come into the shower. So we run the shower, make sure all the water's draining to the waste, and make sure that they've graded the floor properly. We want to see that all the grouting's in place, all the silicone sealants and all the internal corners are actually in place. And something that a lot of builders forget to do is to actually seal the top. So if we put your hand along the top here, you can feel a big gap, and that's a very good place to run a bit of silicone around, because when you have a shower, the walls steam up, the water runs down and sits behind the tiles. So it could be a long-term problem down the track. So we will let the builder know that he needs to come back and seal that up as well. All right, so we can't get out on the roof safely today for both of us, but from this window I can show you a couple of defects. If you look out to the side, you'll see the ColourBond roof, and you'll see there's some dented sheets where someone's walked and left a big crease in the sheet. There's some flashing that joins the cement sheet cladding, but no sealants have been put in the joins. There's debris across the roof. There's lots of gravel, empty silicone tubes and nails. Nails in particular is probably the worst thing you can leave on the roof, because over time they're going to rust, and that rust will eventually go from the nail through the ColourBond, and then you'll end up with water getting into the ceiling. So it's very important with brand new houses that you get up and clean everything off the roof to make sure you get the longest possible life. Here on the stairwell, we can see this is a poorly finished handrail, so no one's bothered to come back and sand and fill correctly, so the builder will be back to do that one. And we've also noticed the windows are here, but the actual security screens, which are in the inclusion list, haven't been installed, so we'll have to let him know about that one as well.
So there you go, Ross has been through this house, made quite a few notes for his report, and he's going to submit that report to the builder on behalf of the buyer. As you can see, it's really important to get an independent builder's viewpoint on your new property prior to your final handover payment. Ross, thank you very much for joining us today. You've been very helpful.
No, you're welcome.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
I'm glad I was able to help you out.
No, that's good. So make sure you contact Ross or an independent builder in your area before your new property handover. If you want to know more about construction or the property market in general, or any of our videos we've got online, don't forget to visit us at www.propertyadvice.com.au or give us a call 1300 66 7789. I'm Scott Northcott from Real Property Advice. We'll see you next time.